Hey YouTube friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. I would love for you to hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications so that you don't miss another video from me. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how I made this super quick and easy DIY to create a jewelry holder for my daughter who's 8 years old and loves pink, and that's why it's in pink. If you want to see how I made that, keep on watching. So I'm going to be using some scrap materials. I have paper towel inserts and some aluminum foil inserts that I have laying around the house, and I saved those. And I got this from the Dollar Tree. This is the brand of aluminum foil that I got, and that's the smaller cylinder that you see there. And then I'm also going to be using some poster foam board. I also have some scrap fabric that I got from a blanket that I was making for her, and I'm using these other supplies that you see listed on the screen. Now, the first thing that I did was to create this hole into the bigger cylinder, which is the paper towel one, in order for the smaller cylinder to fit and create this T shape. I wanted the second one to be shorter than the first one, so I cut it in half, but it could be cut 3/4 of the way depending on what you're looking for. I wanted a taller one and a shorter one, like tall one for like necklaces and short one for her bracelets. So the way that I created the holes was by just cutting a small slit in the paper towel roll using the scissors. I cut a small slit lengthwise and I cut one widthwise, and I just pushed in the cardboard with my finger, eyeballing it and making sure that the smaller cylinder would fit into it to make my T shape. And then when I measured them together, I was really happy with the height. And the next step is going to be to cut the foam board. And I just cut that in half to have these two rectangles. Then on the top one, I'm going to be drawing a line, just eyeballing it, doesn't need to be perfect. And I trace the bottom of the smaller cylinder so that I know where they're going to fit into the cardboard. I made 2 circles, and then I just cut them out with a razor. Once I had my holes, I made sure that everything fit, and just cut out the second one. I'm sorry it's not directly in the shot, but then I put both of them in. I saw that it fits perfectly. It's a little bit off center, but it doesn't bother me. It's okay. Nothing's glued, so it's obviously going to be wobbly, but it's just to see that they fit in the holes. So the next thing is going to be to cover these up. So I just cut my scrap fabric about 3 or 4 inches longer than what I actually needed for the cylinder. And I had an area that was a little bit jagged and one area that was much straighter. So I just put the glue directly onto the cardboard piece, and then I just rolled it starting from the jagged end because I wanted that end to be hidden. So once I press it firmly on that end, I just roll it up, and I ended up with this. And then I glued the seam, carefully gluing the seam. I did end up burning my finger in this video. It's not going to show it, but I burned my finger really badly doing this. I got distracted and I just pressed my finger directly on that glue, and trust me, that was not a fun time for me at all. Now for the excess fabric, I just stuffed it into the ends of the cylinder. They kind of look like little foam rollers from when you're going to go paint. So I'm going to repeat that for everything. When it comes to the larger piece, I stuffed it first at the end, and then I just glued the seam by pulling and tugging, because that fabric is very forgiving because it's kind of furry and a little bit stretchy, and created as nice a seam as possible, but not gluing the area where the other piece is going to go into it. Then for my foam board, I just glued both of them together, but only at the opposite edges, not all around. And I did this because I needed a little bit of slack for when I go to insert the bottom of my T-piece into the circular cutouts. Then I flipped it upside down and I covered it with the fabric. I tried to create the best seam that I could, but this piece is going to be flipped the other way. You're not going to see this at the bottom. So once I glued everything together, making sure everything is tucked in, making sure anything that needs extra glue gets it, making it as nice as possible, I go in and insert the pieces. Now I lost the footage for this part and I'm gonna have to explain it. What I did was I just felt around for the circular cutout, then I cut out a slit in the fabric and filled it with as much glue as possible. I use hot glue and super glue for this. And then I placed the base into the cutout by kind of pulling a little bit to give me the slack. And then I held it in place until the hot glue dried, making sure that everything was straight. The super glue is going to take a little bit longer to dry, but the hot glue helps you kind of keep working. And then once that was done, it's going to be a little bit wobbly, but it's okay because the super glue will set. And I just added a little tiny bit of the bling wrap at the bottom. I didn't want to overwhelm it and just bling the whole thing up. I wanted her jewelry to just kind of pop out more, but she has pink jewelry, so it really didn't pop. The final step was to add these little jewels that I got from the Dollar Tree. They're little butterflies. I put them in the middle just to keep it as simple as possible. And this is what it looks like in the end. I was pretty happy with it. I am still thinking about covering the two ends since I do have a little bit of fabric left over, and just making some little circles of cardboard and just covering those up and gluing it over. I think it might give it that finishing touch. But this is what it looks like now. And then I went ahead and put that in her bedroom. And I apologize for the lighting here, guys. The light was coming directly at me and this is the best I could do to show you, but it looks really pretty in person. Makes a real statement. She has her necklaces on the tall one and her bracelets on the bottom. And that's it, guys. That's everything that I did. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.